All right. Hey guys. Hey everybody. Hi Carlos and James. Did you guys have a good day?
It was great. Thank you, Jewel.
We
Great to
did.
be here with you today.
That's
Thanks. Yeah, I had a great day. I was working with contractors all day and making stuff pretty. That's what I love to do.
That's awesome.
Yep, I got a lot done. Got a lot done. It was crazy. I was listening to you guys talk a few minutes ago about someone kind of being bi-coastal. It's actually fun. It's kind of cool building in two places or a couple different places, doing things that you love. And it is crazy how much I love real estate now. So I just have to ask you this. I know we're gonna get into it. You guys come on in the room. Go ahead and share this feed with someone right now. Text them, tell them to jump on. This conversation, I think, is really gonna not just inspire and motivate, but literally give you probably for some of you, this will be your next play. This will be the next thing that you want to do. But when do you think you got hit with the real estate bug? I think I kind of always had it, but it definitely got turned all the way on once I actually started investing and went from just thinking about it and talking about it to actually doing it. What about you guys?
For me, it was really I saw my dad as a early on build a warehouse complex for his business, and he built it brick by brick. He had a little bit of money. He would build the next unit. Had a little bit of money, built the next unit. That was kind of my childhood experience, but I really didn't catch it until I bought my first home. And then when my wife and I made a little bit of extra money, we bought our second home and never sold the first. And then we
Mm,
rented the first. We had a little bit of extra cash flow. Then we saw the first one appreciate. And over the 15-year period that I was building my other businesses, we were hobby investors. It was not even our full-time thing, but we always did well. The properties always appreciated. I was doing an okay job managing the tenants. My wife never liked it because I think for her it was every home that we rented was at some point our house, and the tenants sometimes didn't take care of the place, so she had a little bit of an emotional attachment to the
yeah,
to the home. But for me, it was always, what, this is a great business. I
yeah,
get to have an asset, it's growing in value, I have
yeah,
some tax benefits,
yeah,
and I'm collecting some rent every month. Somebody else is paying the mortgage.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think once you like get into it, once you get past the what if this, what if that, you take the risk. And of course, hopefully you have some mentorship along the way. Because the mentorship definitely helps, right? It definitely helps.
Oh,
I think it really makes a difference between somebody having a very good experience than somebody having a horrible experience. And I think that all would you do you feel like the most of your deals have had some kind of challenge point at some point, but you just learned to persevere through?
in the beginning, yeah, it was trial and error. It was learning on my own. I kind of grew up in a household where my dad was super. He was a solopreneur, 1,000%.
Yeah.
He did not ask for help. He was that macho guy that wanted to fix everything himself, bootstrap everything, no leverage, not ask anybody for money. So I picked up some bad habits from my dad as well as great habits from my dad. And for the first 10 or so years, I was trying to do everything myself. And when you try to do everything yourself without a mentor, without a guide, without someone that actually knows what they're doing and already has results, then you end up hitting yourself against the wall quite a bit. So it was painful in the first few years until I got smart and said, this is too hard. Let me go find someone in a group of people that can support me and teach me this, not only theory, but that they're doing what I want to do.
Yeah, that's good. What about you, James? When did you get the real estate bug?
You know what? I think I realized the bug uh, probably over the last 5 years. But I would also say, Jewel, even though I had never, outside of my primary home, I had never invested in real estate. Um, Even prior to that, it was something that was always on my mind. Just the idea, maybe wishful thinking, like, man, what would it be like to have
Mhm.
a couple of properties? But um, any thinking or even a pursuit, if you will, that really didn't happen until I met Carlos. And that's why for me, Jewel, I think having an understanding and of course absorbing and getting the information and then applying it, it just really accelerated my process. You know, this deal that we are pursuing now and really excited about in Kentucky, that's going to add another couple hundred units to my portfolio. So even in saying that, and you know what I'm saying, it does something to your belief. It's just confirmation that, man, you could be a coconut head from American Samoa, right? And I've always said this. 5 years ago, I would say to Chris, man, Chrissy's my wife. I wish I would have known what I know now in my 20s or even in my 30s. And she would always remind you, say, hey, timing is everything and God's timing is perfect. So while I'm in my 50s, I feel like I have the energy like I did in my 20s because now I'm applying the information. We've heard this saying, knowledge is power. Well, that's not completely true. Knowledge is only power when you start applying, when you start putting things into play. And so I think that's been the difference. And so it's no longer just a bug. It's a reality. And I'm just so grateful that even here, we're getting to chat with you and just dream with like-minded individuals. There's
and Joe and James, I think for me, the bug didn't really hit me hard until I started doing commercial real estate. When I understood the commercial real estate game and the multiple and the growth and the tax benefits and just how much bigger that game was, James could tell you, I basically put everything aside, put all my other businesses in the hands of good managers and said, guys, I'm leaving you. I'm going to go do a different thing. And I completely and absolutely obsessed about learning commercial real estate and investing in it for a good season until I mastered it. And now we're having amazing results at it. So that's really when the bug hit. That was probably 4 or 5 years ago now.
Wow. So you literally put all your businesses in the hands of other people and said, I am really going to just focus on commercial real estate, just because obviously you didn't just do that for no reason. The math had to be math and the profit had to be there. And it made sense for you to put a focal on it. And I'm glad you said that. If you're watching right now, we're having this conversation because I want you to know what the possibilities are. I think that real estate is probably one of the smartest financial decisions that anybody can make. I'm very passionate about women getting involved in real estate, very passionate about women of color getting involved in real estate. Real estate is still very much male dominated, from the contractors to even the investors to the title companies. And we've been able to build together a pretty cool community of people that will support you from getting the lending, everything that you need from beginning to end, finding the properties, even finding deals like this. Like, you can't just get on Google and say, I want to invest in 233 units. That's not how it works. You got to be a part of a network that actually says, hey, you know what? Go look at this, go look at that. I'm actually buying a 16 unit right now, but it's not on the market, right? It's within the network. And so, those of you that are watching right now, I want you to know that getting involved in a network is going to be extremely, extremely important for you if you are serious about doing real estate. First of all, you need people need people that have eyes and ears to understand what is a good deal. Because a good deal is not a good deal unless it's a good deal, right? Location matters. The structure of the building, when the building was built. What are the rental comps? What are the purchase price comps? What is the equity going to be over the next couple of years? What's going on in the city? Like, there are a lot of different things that you need to look at. And so when my husband told me that he had met Carlos and James, I was like, okay. And he was telling me what they were doing. I got really, really excited because I'm always looking for people that are really, really, really good at what they do. That's how you become wealthy. You get good. You don't have to get good at everything, but you do have to get good at understanding when people are operating in their genius. And when they're operating in their genius, those are the ones, if it's in alignment with your vision, those are the ones that you want to connect to, so that you don't have to read 1,000 books, go to 1,000 conferences to still feel like you don't know what the heck you're doing. So Carlos brought to my husband and I a phenomenal deal, 233 units in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. When I saw the presentation, I'm telling you, everything in me was like, yes. And so Carlos, tell them a little bit about what's happening in Elizabethtown. First of all, Carlos is not new to this. Carlos actually owns, brag a little bit about what you got, because I want people to know I'm not bringing somebody here that's still a student. Not that he's not a student, still learning, but he definitely has the receipts, right? So talk about what you've already accomplished and some of those numbers so that people can understand, and then we'll talk about the opportunity.
Yeah, Jewel, I came to the United States at 17 years old. It was my parents' dream that we would come and study here, and went to school, got a couple degrees, one in business, one in engineering. And then I thought a job was the solution, but quickly I realized that that was not the solution, and I started a business. And after that business, I went from my garage to a warehouse, then purchased a warehouse, a commercial warehouse, 50,000 square feet, that it's our headquarters today. And I started hobby investing in real estate, just residential. But what I realized over the years, after I started 3 other multi-million-dollar companies and I sold one for 8 figures, is that the real estate that my office was in, the commercial real estate that my office was in, had appreciated in the last 13 years 8 times.
Wow.
And that was very hard to ignore, because my residential home that I bought almost at the same time had only appreciated twice. So I'd say, you know what, which horse am I going to ride? I'm going to ride the residential horse or the commercial horse that is, at least in my experience, 8 times more efficient. And even if it's only 4 times more efficient, I'll be here because it's a much bigger play and it just appreciates and scales so much faster. So that really turned on that light bulb in me and said, you know what, I need to go get units, more units, commercial multifamily units. And in the last 4 years, I've acquired over 1,200 apartment units. We also have a beautiful mixed use property very close to where you live.
Hold on. 1,200 doors?
1,200 doors.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure that people heard in the back. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't call them doors. I call them units, because
Units,
some of them are commercial units, right?
Okay.
Medical practices. Some of them are, restaurants. Some of them are, so when I call it a door, sometimes people think, oh, it's just an apartment. Sometimes it's an apartment, but sometimes it will be a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath townhome. Sometimes it will be 6,800 square feet academy for autistic children that is renting from us, So,
wow.
For me, that's the more units you have, the more scale you have, and actually the safer it is, because if one tenant leaves out of the 1,200 units, you don't even feel it.
I love it. That's strong. All right, 1,200 units. Okay.
Let's go.
Not doors. You better take us to school. Okay, great. Now let's talk about this opportunity in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, because I think this is huge. And, I want to say this for those of you that are watching right now. For some of you, you're going to be like, this is for me. I want this. I want it now. Some of you are going to say, hey, this is going to be my next step. Because there are going to be other deals. That's the wonderful thing about when you get in a network, the deals keep dealing, right? So let's talk to us about this 233 units, I think it is, right?
It's 216 units in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Yeah. Okay. You want me to start showing them the deck?
Yeah, please.
All right, everybody. You ready for this? I hope you're ready for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Look, this is super exciting for us.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see if I can share the screen real fast to make sure that, okay, there we go. Share my screen.
James, are you I know you're excited about this 216 here we go.
Cool.
Off the charts.
There we go.
Can you
Here it is. Look at it. Look at it.
There we go. There's the beauty, the reserve.
Let's go.
show this full screen? Can you guys see that?
Yes,
Yeah.
looks beautiful.
Awesome. All right, everybody. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about the reserve at Cool Springs in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Beautiful property built last year. Because we're going to share an investment opportunity with you all, it's important that you know that this is done according to the regulations of the Securities and Exchange Commission. So we always have to present a disclaimer, and that this is the initial plan. It's confidential. It's only for the use of prospective investors. And of course, is a plan contained from data that we've collected from the site, from the seller, from the people that are managing the property right now. And that, of course, as we do due diligence, we're verifying that all that is accurate and complete. Okay. And that past performance is not an indication of future results, and that we are not attorneys, we're not financial advisors, and we're not your CPA. So always feel free to connect with those folks to help you make decisions as you decide to invest. All right. Perfect. So first thing I'm going to show you is past performance of our portfolio. We own this property in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's called the Gateway Village. This is probably only 10, 15 minutes from your house, Miss Jewel.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful property in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Murfreesboro, Tennessee is outside of Nashville. And when we found this property 2 years ago, we knew that it was a beautiful, amazing deal. Right in front of a hospital. That hospital behind that you see serves 15 million patients a year. And there was a 55 Class A residential unit complex, luxury apartments, and 37,000 square feet of medical and retail spaces. So closed on March of 2022. We bought it for $18.6 million. Today, the property is valued at $34 million. In 2 years, we've realized an upside of $15 million. So this is why you asked me why commercial. This is why commercial. You can't do this with a house. Okay?
No.
You can't do this with a house. And the main difference, really, guys, is that in a house, in order for it to appreciate, the whole market has to appreciate. All the comparables have to appreciate and bring the value of your home along. In commercial, the value depends on the income of the property. So if we're able to realize more income, more profit, the value can explode quickly and go up quickly. So that's how we're able to realize so much profit in so little time. Okay?
Love it.
This is the reserve at Cool Springs. That's the of course, built last year. Gorgeous pool, gym. I'm gonna work out in that gym. All right, so I'll narrate since the audio's not coming through. It's just a song, guys. Amenities, filling stations, fire pit, garage parking. There's a surprise right next door as well that I'm going to share about here in a little bit. As you can see, it's a beautiful, large property in this town. All right, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the property. It's a 216 apartment units built last year, so brand new build, 204,444 square feet, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, stainless steel appliances, granite countertops, luxury vinyl flooring, open floor plan, in-unit washer and dryer. This is what you would call a Class A property. There's different grades of commercial properties. This would be your Class A or double or triple A, depending on who you're talking to. That's what we specialize on. As you can see from the air, it's, pretty big property, great community, clubhouse, pool, gym, everything. Mailboxes right there. There's opportunity for extra income as well with package lockers, which we are underwriting in our pro forma. There's fire pit, grills, all the stuff that people want to see in a luxury apartment complex. The pool is beautiful. The gym is beautiful. And the average rent right now is $1,630, depending where you're connecting from. This is going to seem real cheap for you. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and rents for units about the same size here, they're way over $2,000. Nashville, Tennessee, of course, way over $2,000. So depending where you are, this rent is still very affordable. This is one of our strategies, to invest in places where rent's still very affordable, because what we know is that rents are going to continue to go up. Housing is in high demand, and one of the things that is happening in this town is that there's going to be a need in the near term of thousands upon thousands of units. And I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. Almost 1,000 square feet per unit on average. As I said, 2023 built. We're going to close on this deal in August of 2024. Purchase price for our acquisition is $47 million. And the year one profit. So one of the things that we do is we always try to buy properties that are already cash flowing. We don't have construction to do. We don't have development to do. These properties are already 95% occupied, which means that month one, the property is already going to be creating profit. This is very, very safe investing. And it's actually the way that I've learned to invest, because I'm technically buying cash flow. And that's what you should do. You should buy cash flow. Year one cap rate, meaning a return on investment.
Hold on one second, Carlos. I want to make sure everybody heard what he said. Everybody put in the comments right now, cash flow. I need you
cash flow, that's right.
Cash flow. Put that in the comments right now. When you start talking about buying your asset that is already cash flowing, already has tenants, this is a brand new build. This is a huge opportunity. Yes, Linda, cash flow. Put cash flow in the comments. Yes, Carolyn, cash flow. That's it. Absolutely. So it's already cash flowing. So we're not talking about something that's finna happen. We talking the minute you get in the deal's closed, Betsy, we're going to cash flow. Okay. All right, Carlos.
That's right. And you know what? That reduces the risk. Value investing means buying something that is more valuable for a lower price. We're paying $47 million for this property. The deal at the end of year one is estimated to be $54.5 million.
Oh yeah,
because it's already cash flowing. You're reducing all your risk. You already have tenants in the apartments, 12-month contracts. There's a lot of opportunity there because there's a lot of demand in the area, and I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that means. This is the location of the deal. It's close to Louisville, Kentucky, 45 minutes away from Louisville, Kentucky. Nashville, Tennessee is 2 hours away on the I-64 corridor, if you're familiar with the area. Fort Knox is 17 minutes away. That's an interesting fact, although most of our tenants are not military, but that's another source of potential tenants. There's $400 billion of gold in that base. I Googled it and found out that we still have gold in this country, so that's good. Mammoth Cave National Park, 45 minutes away, beautiful national park, and Lexington, Kentucky, 80 minutes away. Bowling Green, another big city in Kentucky, is about 30 minutes away. And then Blue Oval City, which you're like, what is Blue Oval City? I'm going to explain to you guys what it is 16 minutes away. Okay? Education is plentiful in the area. There's middle schools, high schools, Elizabethtown High School, Western Kentucky University, University of Louisville, Elizabethtown Technical College. This college just got a $25 million infusion from the Kentucky State for a special training center for Blue Oval City, and the Blue Oval City SK Training Center, which is going to be training thousands upon thousands of people that are going to work at Blue Oval City here coming up. Okay, a little bit of retail. We always want your tenants to be close to shopping. People like to shop and convenience. So Sam's Club is 6 minutes away, Walgreens 4, Kroger 5 minutes, Farmers Market 9 minutes. Starbucks is a staple in every community, so 6 minutes away. You got to have your coffee in the morning. Walmart 8 minutes away. You always want to make sure that your properties are close to retail. You don't want to buy stuff in the boonies and have people have to drive. And then the big project in this area, guys, and the location is critical. No matter what you buy, real estate is about location. If your location's on point, if your location is really well strategically picked, then you're going to make money. And one of the things that got us excited about this deal when I found it and I was pursuing it is that Ford and Blue Oval SK is a $100 billion company in Korea that has partnered with Ford to build the largest electric vehicle manufacturing facility in the world. And it represents the largest single economic development project in Kentucky's history, 16 minutes away from this property. I mean, about the plant. It's the construction project of the plant. This plant is projected to go live next year. It's already about 80% done. You're going to see here in the video. Just the magnitude of these plants are just insane. Millions and millions of square feet of construction. They're saying that the steel that they've used for this plant is enough to build like 30 Empire State Buildings. Just monstrous building. The payroll to build this plant is $1.6 billion. Just construction payroll. If you think this is impressive on video, if you ever are in the area, when you drive by it, you'll be amazed because this thing is just so big. That's the status of the plant right now, March 2024. There's twin plants. As you can see, there's two right there.
Beautiful.
Humongous operation. But what does this mean to us in this opportunity, in this property? Our property is only 19 minutes away from Blue Oval City. It's the closest apartment complex to Blue Oval City. Blue Oval City is a $5.8 billion investment by Ford and SK Batteries. It's going to create 6,000 direct jobs. For every direct job that is created at the plant, they estimate there's going to be between 3 and 4 indirect jobs that are going to be created. Because remember, an engineer comes with his family, and that engineer has to eat, has to go to the doctor, has to go entertain themselves. And so there's a multitude of things that has to happen for all these people to find homes and all the services that they need. $800 million of expected economic impact around the plant. Anticipated population growth due to the plant is 22,380 individuals. This is massive. This is the size of some small cities in the United States. It's going to almost double the population of Elizabethtown, Kentucky in the next 4 to 5 years.
Carlos, as you were talking, I'm going to let you get back to this. I just wanted to say this, that, there's something to be said about when you become an early adopter. Early adopters get early benefits. Anytime you're at the beginning of a particular curve, that's where the wealth is. You don't wait till after it's already been established and it's already booming. You get in at the beginning. Like if you got in at the beginning of Apple or got in at the beginning of even, Blockbuster, which is dead now, but people made multiple millions of dollars, those investors at the beginning. Yes. So understanding timing is so important. Everything is a season. When you can start seizing and you have the opportunity, because I'm telling you right now, people are not just knocking down the door talking about you can invest in 216 units. Well, again, when you get into a community, like what I've developed at Accetify, these are the kinds of things that you get access to. Then not only are you going to get access to it, but you're going to get the mentorship so you can be learning as you're investing at the same time. And that is really, really the making of really building a very, very strong real estate portfolio. So, okay, yeah, keep going.
So true, Jewel. And you know, all of us say one thing: no matter where you live, you wish you had bought property where you live 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
Doesn't matter where you are. You
True.
wish you had bought property 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
I wish I had bought more property here in Denver 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is your 10, 15 years ago in Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Exactly. Guys, put in the comments right now, Elizabethtown, Kentucky. KY,
Yes.
Elizabethtown, Kentucky. This is, you're going to hear about it. This is your opportunity right now, right? So you got to seize the moment right now. And you got to also know you can't always look for everybody's permission. Everybody's not going to go with you. Stop expecting for people to go with you. Stop expecting for people to see what you see. God didn't talk to everybody. He talked to Moses at that time. He talked to Esther at that time. He talked to David at that time. So everybody has a time, but the key is when you hear it, the thing is, are you going to move? That's what you got to do. You got to learn. There's something to be said about taking that first advantage. You have an opportunity right now on this live tonight, because Ben and I are doing it. I wanted an opportunity for you guys to come into a community, because if you follow me, you already know what I'm doing. I'm about, building wealth. I'm about real estate, and I'm about people of color getting involved in real estate, right? I'm very passionate about that because we are still very much a minority when it comes to investing. So now that you're getting the tools and getting the equipment with people that you can trust, this is your time to seize the moment. So, yeah, go ahead. Put in Elizabethtown. I see you, James. I see you, Linda. I see you, Dawn. I see you, Betsy. Elizabethtown, Kentucky. This is your opportunity. This is the gold rush, right? Okay, Carlos.
Exactly. If you look at this chart, guys, this came from a study that the Hardin County Chamber of Commerce did. It's a very long study available through Ms. Jewel if you guys want to read through this impact of the plant in the area. But this chart is super impressive because if you look at the orange line, that's your Elizabethtown population. The blue line is your Hardin County population. If you see between 2000 and 2022, the population in Elizabethtown has only grown about 8,000 or so people, 9,000 or so people in 22 years. Okay. Wow. But if you track it from 2022 to the projected 2030 population, now we're talking going from 31,900. So basically 32,000 in population to 54,000 plus in population. That's a 22,000 person increase.
Wow.
So basically doubling the size of the town in just 8 years or so.
Wow.
That's how fast this thing is going to grow. And if you're talking in the county level, same thing. The county level numbers are going to explode alongside with it. Why? Because of the multi-billion-dollar investment that these companies are doing in the area. That, by the way, money in an area attracts more money in the area. So as Ford is moving in, guess who has to follow? All the suppliers for Ford. As other companies have to go in, other suppliers have to go in. And that is followed along by restaurants, by clinics, by medical. So it's hard to even predict the true explosion that's going to happen here. But we're getting basically a glimpse into the future of how the population is going to grow. And where do you want to be? You want to be where people need homes. If you're buying units like we are, apartment units, you want to be where there's massive demand for it and little inventory. There's no inventory in this town to house this many people. Okay. As you know, Kentucky is the home of the Kentucky Derby. That's kind of what Kentucky is known for, by the way. Just Kentucky alone employs more than 60,000 people in the horse industry and generates more than $6.5 billion of economic activity. Well, the horse days are going to be over because it's going to be known now for electric battery production. It's kind of funny that it's called Elizabethtown because now they're calling it E-Town, right? And it's going to be E-Town this, E-Town that. Why E-Town? Because of electric batteries.
Mm.
All right. Let me talk to you guys a little bit about investor returns in this deal. The minimum investment for this deal is $100,000. If you have less than that, please contact Ms. Jewel so that she can work with you and see if there's an opportunity for you to join. The projected multiple, meaning how much your money is going to multiply in the deal. If you invest $100,000, it's 2.3, 2.8x. I was just fine-tuning the pro forma today, and it looks beautiful to project and multiply. That means that you invest $100,000, you have the opportunity to make up to $280,000 from this investment. 50 to 55% return on capital by year 5, meaning that when we refinance the deal around year 4 or 5, you're projected to receive about 50 to 55% of the capital back and continue to get paid quarterly distributions. You start getting paid quarterly distributions quarter 1 after closing on the property, and your projected annual average return is 22 to 25%, meaning that if you have your money in a bank making 4% a year, right now it's 4%. Who knows when interest rates drop? It might be 2% or nothing percent, like Chase still pays nothing percent. This deal pays 22 to 25% average annual return. Okay? 5.5 to 7% average investor cash on cash, meaning that your returns in your cash are between 5 and 7%. You have 11 to 13% projected investor IRR. That's a fancy term just to say that your money will grow compounded, and over time, it will start generating 13%. It's a 10-year hold and an 80-20 LPGP split. This just means that the investors, the passive investors, own 80% of the deal. Active investors own 20% of the deal. Okay? Our business plan is simple in this property. We don't have to do any renovation. That's another thing that reduces risk, because if you've ever done a flip, if you've ever done construction, if you've ever done renovation, you know that budgets many times don't fall perfectly, and there's variation because of materials, labor, permits, whatever. The beautiful thing here is that all we have to do is manage the property well, market the property well. We know that there's going to be an increased demand in units. The governor of Kentucky said that because of these plants that are being built in the area, there's going to be a need for 8,000 housing units. So there's going to be a rush to build units, but you know what? They're going to be 2-3 years out. We already have product that is being rented right now, occupied. So guess what we can do? Increase rents. The more demand, the more we increase rents. Conservatively, we've planned a 4 to 5% rent increase year over year, which is only about $70 to $75. If we do that by year 10, this property is going to be worth $72 to $74 million. That's how much value we can add to the property by year 10. Okay, so that's the business plan. Let me tell you a little bit about my team. As I told you before, I've founded multiple companies. I have over 1,200 doors in my portfolio. I founded a nutritional company that is still being sold online, by the way, and I sold that for 8 figures a few years ago. I have a distribution company here in Denver, Colorado. I have a training company, and of course, CS3 Investments is my real estate baby. We acquire real estate properties like you see today in the slides. Okay, this is my team. I have a pretty diverse team. Ali Ao, my director of investor relations. Brandon Ford, my finance genius. MBA, CPA, used to work for KPMG Accounting, one of the top 4 firms in the country. My brother Ricardo, my marketing genius. I always call him my Jarvis because he's the one that I dream about the things and he makes them happen. Eric Tong, my project director. Mr. Grace Wilson, our asset manager. Aaron DJ, my asset manager in Tennessee. Juan Navia, my partner in Miami, and of course, my partner, James Katina, who is here today with you. This is part of the team. We have a big, huge remote support team in many different countries that help us put this thing all together and keep things moving like a well-oiled machine. Okay, that's it, Miss Jewel. I know you want to put probably your email so that people can contact you.
Absolutely. Carlos, that was really phenomenal. Super clear, super good. And let me say this is, if you've got money sitting in an IRA, 401k, SEP, cash, and you're like, hey, this money's sitting here and it's growing slow. I don't like what I'm seeing. Invest. And let me tell you something that I love about the world of real estate and being in a network like a Setify. The deals keep dealing. One of the things that we do too is we help people with residential properties buy and flip, also buy and hold. But what I really love is to take buy and flip profit and then move it into something like this, right? So I have a couple investors right now that are about to close on their property, and they're like, "Hey, I'm really thinking about investing in the Reserve in Elizabethtown." That's really how you want to move. You don't want to just buy and flip, Dre, buy and flip, buy and flip, buy and flip, and get used to that big cash. You want to make sure that you're creating cash flow because that's how you're really going to become wealthy. I want you guys to be able to say, hey, the Reserve is paying for the mansion. This other property is paying for the children's tuition. This property over here is our vacation. This property over here is for all my anti-aging and organic food and cook and housekeeper. And like, you literally can give each project an assignment for your lifestyle, right? So that you're not working so hard. You start really putting yourself in a position to work smart. So though I love the buy and flip game, though I want to see everybody get in it because I want you to get the capital, ultimately, my vision for all of you is to be able to move that buy and flip cash that you make into asset performing things like this that's going to give you cash flow every single month. And then what will happen is we really train everybody to go from deal to deal to deal, not to just do a deal and then you do one deal a year or two deals a year. You literally can put yourself in a position where you're going from one deal to the next, to the next, to the next. It can be buy and flip commercial, buy and flip commercial, buy and flip commercial, right? And so that's what the wealth formula is, right? So you literally, and even if you say, hey, I don't have $100,000 right now. Well, let's talk to you about getting in the buy and flip world so that you can create capital, because you can't just keep sitting back talking about what you don't have. The question is what you going to do to change the situation. Like for real, real. Don't just keep talking about, I don't have that. No. Okay, what am I about to do? And like I said, stop waiting on other people. I have an amazing marriage. My husband is very successful, but he'll tell you, I go get it. I'm not sitting back talking about what Ben is going to do. Now, he not let off the hook. He still got to do stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting back like, oh, my husband, I'm waiting for him to say when we can. No, go out and get your own bag. And that's for men and women. So Carlos and James, I really want to thank you for jumping on here. James, just any final words that you would tell the people? I know you got involved 5 years ago when it changed.
I want to mention before James goes, I'm going to mention something that we didn't talk about, but that is very, very important too. Yeah. Commercial real estate not only gives you all the things that we showed you, cash flow, appreciation. You now have an asset that protects your capital, because when you make money, guys, something super important is protect your money. Yeah. You got to protect your bag. Yeah. And when you protect your money, then you can multiply it. Yes. But another huge thing about commercial real estate is the tax benefits. Mm. And commercial real estate is the darling of the IRS. Yeah. And especially if you're doing flips or you're doing anything that is transactional and you're paying taxes on those quick returns that you're making, what you want to do is you want to offset those tax burdens that you're creating with commercial real estate depreciation. I was able to bring down my tax bill to practically zero with commercial real estate. I used to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxes because I was making great money in my businesses. And I was trying to save it here and there. I was trying to, do more company parties and spend more money on things and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, guys, that doesn't work. You end up still paying a whole bunch of taxes. Yeah. When I discovered the commercial real estate game, I started seeing that when I invest in these commercial deals, I get these depreciation losses that are just paper losses. Yeah. But this is how truly the wealthy avoid paying big taxes. This is how truly the wealthy play the game. They don't evade taxes. That's illegal. You end up in jail doing that. They avoid taxes. And the tax code is written to incentivize people to do certain things. And the number one thing that the government wants you to do is create housing. And because of that, it is the one that gets the most tax benefits of them all.
I'm glad you said that, Carlos. It's not tax evasion, it's tax avoidance.
That's right.
That's and truly, and thank you again, Jewel, for the opportunity to share this. And this is an opportunity for those of you, you've been praying and you've been seeking God, and you're trying to figure out a way to take control, take back control. No longer just trade money, time for money, but truly take what God has given you, your resources, your finances, and put them in assets that not only will it be protected, but it is the three things. It's cash flow, it's appreciation, it's tax benefits. And this is the blueprint that I have not just subscribed to, but I firmly believe, Ms. Jewel, I'm not leaving money to Jackson, Dylan, Haley, Riley, and Levi. I'm leaving them assets.
That's right.
I'm leaving them assets and teaching them that it's equity. It's not this cash that people are chasing, right? Because even cash, the value continues to decrease. But we're going after trophy assets that will produce equity. And this is what we call infinite return. So we're excited. We're excited for the family in your community. And we certainly hope that many of you will reach out to Jewel and Ben and let us help you to not only invest in Elizabethtown, but many more assets to come. God is good.
Yeah, that's so good. Thanks so much, James, for that. Thanks, Carlos, for jumping on here. I love what y'all said. Trophy assets bring about trophy money. Let's go.
Trophy. That's
Listen,
right.
if you're ready to get involved, you might not be ready to go straight there. You might say, hey, I need to go through the buy and flip world. But some of you might say, I am ready to go straight there. I do have an IRA sitting there. I do have a 401k that's just sitting there. And I want to take and move my money from my Roth in there. Go ahead and email support@certifiednow.com. support@certifiednow.com. You get that email, and I tell you what, woo, it's gonna be on and popping. Okay.
Jewel, just one last thing, yeah. and I'm glad you mentioned that. Carlos and I and our team were just talking about how there's a lot of people. I mean, you would be surprised that there's people that have 401ks or IRAs and they've got couple hundred thousand, and they're trying to figure out, well, how can I deploy those funds? Yeah. And so we work with self-funded IRAs, 401ks. It's what you call a custodian. So we would be more than glad to help with that process for anyone who might be in that position to be able to take those funds. Again, you take control of that and you decide, man, I want to invest this money, but these are the assets that I want to invest in. And your custodian, if they are set up in the right way, we have a great group that we work with. So we would be glad to point you in that direction.
I want to mention a number that is going to blow your guys' mind. Okay. Because a lot of people don't know about this. And this is a huge, huge thing. Right now, as of December 31st, 2022, this is even almost 2 years old, there was $11.5 trillion, trillion with a T, held in individual retirement accounts, IRAs in the United States. $1 trillion. Only 3 to 5% of those IRAs are self-managed, meaning that people are actually self-directing those IRAs to invest in deals like this. A tiny fraction. Most people don't know. 9 out of 10 people do not know that they can self-direct their IRAs to make better investments. And it is not by accident. This is by design. Because the IRA plan administrators, the 401k plan administrators do not want you to be controlling your own money. Because the minute you do that, guess what happens to their fees? They stop. So they're not promoting it to you. They're not saying, hey, you've been saving for 10 years on your IRA. Why don't you go put it in a real estate deal? They'll never tell you that. They'll tell you, you know what? We're picking mutual funds for you. We're picking bonds. We're picking stocks, ETFs. But in the background, they're collecting fees and fees and fees, and that erodes your returns. When you self-control your IRA, the custodian takes 0 fees from your investments. They only charge a small administration fee to make sure that it continues to be legal and continues to be directed and IRA and IRS benefited and tax protected. So this is a mind-blowing stat, guys. So check, you might have an IRA that you can self-direct and invest in deals like this and get amazing returns and make it grow incredibly. And by the way, IRAs can be passed on to heirs tax-free as well. Even if you never use it because you have all this cash flow coming in, you can pass that to your kin tax-free for generations.
Listen, that was a whole wealth strategy right there. That right there, right?
There's some extra game for you guys.
Listen, no, seriously, like for real, like we're at the second quarter. And I'm sorry, ending the second quarter. The first half of 2024. This is really game time to determine, okay, what are these next 7 months going to look like? You got to be strategic. You got to determine, how do I want to live? Where do I want my children to go to school? Where do I want to go on vacation? Where do I want to grocery shop? What kind of help do I need? Like, this is a time for you really to be asking yourself for real. I was talking to one of my contractors today, and he said, how did you become wealthy? And I started telling him, like, every choice has a consequence. So if you're spending money when you should be investing, there's going to be a consequence that could cost you 5 years, 10 years. You know what I mean? So now it's really important that you get serious about investing and get out of, overanalyzation, trust your instinct, trust the relationships, because your destiny is going to move at the speed of your relationship. So guys, thanks so much for jumping on here tonight. Carlos and James, this was great. You guys want more information? Email support@acetifiednow.com. Email support@acetifiednow.com. And I cannot wait to work with you. Carlos and James cannot wait to work with you. We're actually going to be taking a tour of the facility in June. We're doing a 2-day mastermind. I'll also make sure that you have that information as well. If you email a 2-day mastermind at the end of June, that we want to encourage you guys to come to that, because you're going to get 2 days of strategy. And then we're going to go and tour the facility in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, so you can actually touch the tangible asset that you are now going to be a partner of. So again, email support@acetifiednow.com. Carlos, James, thanks so much for jumping on. You guys, thanks so much. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Take care. Thank you, Jewel. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.